I have had a wonderful week of conversations with clients and exploring their journey, their inner journey, and their journey here, doing what they want, finding their way to express all they want to express in the world. And I was reflecting that the only requirement on the spiritual path is that we are true to ourselves. However, how do we know what our truth is and what our self is? And of course, there's so many layers and layers and layers of conditioning, so many layers of beliefs and adaptations to all the things that have happened in our childhood, that actually our self is often a whole set of programs and patterns, and that is actually more of a created self rather than our true self. And so what is our truth? We can only find all this out by living. We can only find it out by doing some investigative work on our paradigm, on where we got our beliefs from, and day by day listening to our inner dialogue and listening to our words and what we say to other people and what our beliefs are and opinions and all the things that come out of our mouth and all the things that go on inside us. And without a bit of investigative work, we are often just living on a program coming completely from a whole set of subconscious programs and patterns that we're not even conscious of. So we are actually living quite unconsciously, and therefore ultimately we don't exactly know what being true to ourself is. We might be being true to a whole set of family rules. We might be being true to a whole set of societal or cultural or educational or spiritual rules, and we may have a value system that we are staying true to. But is that who we truly are? Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? And the question that is a very powerful question to ask is, who am I? And Ramana Maharshi, he said that is the only question we need ask is, who am I? And keep asking that question and see what arises, and just keep shedding all the things that come up. Who am I? And all the roles and the positions that we might take, all the roles of being, a daughter, a father, a mother, a boss, employee, an athlete, an artist, all the things that we think we are, we have to just shed and shed and shed to find the eye below the eye, the truth of who we are. And so the more we are investigating, then this life journey is a process in which we can gradually strip back the layers. It's like an onion, stripping back the layers of who we're not to find who we are. And we can only really do that by living fully and enthusiastically and going for it, and going down paths that we might think are ours, but then we discover that actually it's the path of our education or the path of our family. And the challenging thing and the difficult thing is, if we discover that we're on a path that doesn't feel true to ourselves, it's being able to turn back from it. And that really is the most compromising thing that can happen, is people go down paths and they get locked in jobs and relationships and situations, and societal expectations are fulfilled or familial expectations are fulfilled, but the yearning of the soul isn't fulfilled. And so really there's no simple answer to being true to ourselves. We can only live and explore. And often in this life we live it forwards, but we learn it backwards. But the key is to be self-reflective, to be willing to be reflective, to be willing to listen to our inner voice and hear if there's distress or disappointment or upset or excitement or whatever it might be, and be prepared to journey in all sorts of ways and places we might not understand within ourselves, to discover who we truly are. But the question, who am I, to keep asking that every day. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I really? And we do start to discover we're not the roles we play, that we're not anything we might think. We're actually this. We can't be thought. We can't be thought. Who we are can't be thought. And that process is ongoing, but it's also recognizing that there's that essence of us, the truth of who we are, and getting more and more in touch with that does inform the actions we take as the human, the body, the mind, the personality, all the things that we are living out here. The more we are dropping into the I below the I, we will be able to start to have our essence and our spirit and our light shine through all we do. But it can be a difficult process, because we can wake up and go, I'm not living my truth. I'm living the life that was created by everybody else but me, by my education, my school, my belief system. So this isn't necessarily a quick answer. It takes, first of all, the willingness to investigate our paradigm, investigate our reactivity, investigate ourselves, be reflective moment by moment by moment, and recognise that the directions we get drawn in are worth investigating, because they can be to do with ego identification, where we're looking for affirmation and approval, whereas they might not be the true yearning of our soul. So I'm kind of going round in circles, and I'm not sure whether this particularly gives any answers. It's more just an opening for an investigation for yourself, to ask, who am I? To ask, where do I really want to go? What's true for me? And in journeying, to be prepared to turn back from things if they're not right for you, to be prepared to go down a path that then doesn't feel right and turn back, and be willing to weather any criticism from others for this, because people have all sorts of beliefs themselves and all sorts of ideas about how we should all behave. So it's a very courageous path to start to be self-reflective. It's a very courageous path to start to ask, who am I? It's a very courageous path to start to journey on a spiritual path that is truly about your own self-realization, and not about trying to please or win approval from others. So as I say, I don't think I've necessarily given you any answers. All I've done is invited you to ask the questions and to be willing to reflect and journey within. The journey within is really the only journey there is.